I have a little problem that you might also be familiar with. I have run out of space. If you're new here, I'm Nikki and I'm on a mission to grow as much food as I can here in the subtropics of Australia. My goal is to plant one bed out each month so I always have something to harvest and I avoid that feast or famine that typically occurs when you plant out seasonally instead of staggering your plantings. So in my garden, I have around 14 raised beds, which is around 16 square meters of growing space. And something is growing in every single one of those beds. 3 beds have garlic, which will be there until September. One has onions, which we've just planted out and will probably be there till November, December. One has chilies, another has capsicums. We'll probably get another year out of those. I then have my cassava and taro root growing in one of my big garden beds, which I'm really not sure when I should be harvesting them. Then the other has some sweet potatoes, an eggplant, and some fennel that I am harvesting from. And then I have a bed that I've just been chucking all of my spare things in, which has a cauliflower very close to picking. The remaining beds are my monthly staple beds. I have a March bed which is still going. I'm patiently awaiting this cauliflower head and I've been harvesting the carrots just when we need them. My April bed is producing some monster daikon radish and the sugar snap peas are starting to slow down. The cabbage will be here for a fair bit longer though. In May, I did plant 2 beds, one of which was mostly destroyed by rats. We should be harvesting the broccoli in these very soon. And finally, my June bed is pumping out the mustard greens and everything is going really well in here. Now for July. Even though I don't have a bed to plant into, I'm going to go with some pots. It feels like only yesterday that I grew the majority of food that we produce out of pots. And you can surprisingly grow a lot of veggies in them. The main issue that I found, particularly over summer, was that constant love that they needed, particularly over the warmer months with watering. So I'm going to go with some wicking or self-watering pots. I just really need to make sure I remember to reapply slow release fertilizer regularly and do regular liquid feeds with some seaweed extract. So I've got 3 pots that I'm going to be using. One is a self-watering one that actually receives terrible reviews on the website for Bunnings. It's around the $60 mark. It also came with a cover, which I doubt I'll use in our climate. I got one of the small raised beds, which is a great budget option at around $30. It has no drainage holes in it, so I thought I would convert it into a mini wicking bed with stuff we had lying around. And finally, I'm going to be using a water up pot, which is around the $80 mark. I've been using these for my blueberries and I really like them. They're pretty easy to set up and they're a lot lighter than the old terracotta pots that we were using for them. Now, as for planting, July is the last chance for us to really get in those cool season crops. Even it is a little bit borderline too late because it does start to heat up in September now. So I will be first to admit that my plant selection here isn't going to give me the biggest bang for my buck with a pot setup. I did select these plants based on the fact that I was going to be planting in a garden bed. But we'll see how we go. And I'll give some alternative options for if you are doing in pots. So I'm mostly going to be planting broccoli. And if you've ever grown it before, you will know that it actually does get quite big. This variety I have is a Calabrese. I think that's how you say it, which is a sprouting variety. It doesn't get the huge heads. It gets a small head. Then you cut it and then you continually harvest the side shoots, which are similar to what you see in the shops called broccolini. So if you are following along and you do have a large bed to plant with, I would go for a similar layout to what I did back in March. And if you do have peas left over, you can also add those in. That's probably the last chance that you can plant peas for us in the subtropics. So just some tips with setting up the pots. If you've ever grown using a self-watering pot where it has the little cups that sort of sit in the water reservoir, you might have noticed that perhaps you received a smell that came from the water reservoir. And that's usually caused by anaerobic bacteria from your soil sitting in the water. So even though it won't tell you to do it on the pots, I always fill the little legs that sit in the water with something like a perlite or even just a horticultural sand. So now I'm just going to make up a potting mix which uses some of the leftover perlite that I had from the wicking bed setup. I've got some premium potting mix and our own homegrown compost. Normally, when I'm harvesting compost from these compost bins, I will pull the entire thing out, but I'm not taking all of it as I'm saving some of it for my potatoes. I didn't want the beagle to get in here and bury her bones, so I am just taking shovelfuls out, which is a lot trickier if you've ever tried to do it this way. And my goodie mix of trace elements. My Dirt Lover members can grab the recipe I use for that inside the portal. So with the raised garden bed, I've seen these around a lot. I know a lot of people use these. And because they don't have drainage holes, I am going to hack it into a mini self-watering pot using some slotted ag pipe that I had laying around and some geofabric and the leftover perlite. I drilled a drainage hole and I popped in a grommet that I had left over from my hydroponic setup with a little bit of pipe, more so just to keep that ag pipe in place. I think you could just drill a hole and be done with it. I then covered the ag pipe with a layer of geofabric and leveled it off with perlite, so it was a flat surface. You could use sand and then another layer of the geofabric. Once I've done this, it is borderline a little too short for growing things. I would have liked to have hit that 20-25 centimeter, but I will see how it goes. If you didn't want to go to the effort of doing this, I do highly recommend either filling that bottom section up to the lip with perlite or sand or drilling in drainage holes. The only holes in these particular beds are through the legs. The reason I chose the ag pipe is I wanted a larger reservoir of water, so I'm not constantly having to be out here watering these pots all the time. I did use the same potting mix blend for this one and also for the water up. So now the setup's done, it is planting time, and I'm going to be direct sowing some Karuta carrots, tatsoi, giant mustard and spring onions. Then we'll be transplanting some of our tiny broccoli and lettuce. They would have been a bit bigger, but I did have a rat in my greenhouse and I had to replant them, so I'm a couple of weeks behind on these. So they are a little bit too small, but we'll see how they go. They're probably safer in here than they are in my greenhouse at the moment. So for the first bed, I'm going in with a row of carrots. These ones are short karutas, which are a great one if you struggle growing carrots. They don't get massive and they have a really nice color, which means that you can pull them out a little bit earlier and they don't look insipid. They're a great one for pots. Another one to try is the Paris Market, which is more like a little ball. It's a good one for growing in pots. Next to the carrots, I'll do a row of lettuce. These ones are butterheads, a minuet type. I always like to plant fast-growing leafy greens next to my carrots. It just helps with taking away any excess nitrogen that's too much for the carrots, so the carrots can focus on growing their roots as opposed to the leaf. They'll also be done before the carrots really need that full sun to fully develop. In the back corners of this bed, I'm going to be planting some tatsoi. I do regret not planting this one earlier in the season, as it's a really good one that you can just cut and come again. A better choice of pots would be a pak choi, as they are fast turnaround and they don't take up as much space. The raised bed, I'm going to try my luck with 2 broccoli plants and direct sow some mustard at the front. Mustard is a really good hardy thing to plant in the extreme temperatures of both hot and cold. This is going to be overcrowded, I know it, but I'm going to try it anyway and see how we go. Finally, the water up, a bit more appropriate planting spacing. I'm going with 1 single broccoli in here. In the corners, I will direct sow some spring onions. I probably could put some more lettuce in here. But that is pretty much it. Now into the greenhouse, I am just going to top up my lettuce supply with some cos lettuce. My daughter got guinea pigs for her birthday and they are eating my lettuce supplies so far, so I need to make sure I have a constant supply to feed them. So I have set up my hydro lettuce that I usually have running in summer now just for them. Anyway, that is it for my July planning. I hope to get potatoes in this month, but my seed potatoes are yet to chit, so it might be next month for them. I am interested to see how these little pot hacks go, and if it does well, I might add to this area. So this is up the side of my house that I have been converting into an area to grow more food. If you do want to follow along with my planting, I do have the bundle of seeds available on my website that includes everything that I sow in these monthly videos for the next 3 months. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.